Welcome back, everyone. June is here and summer is just about in full swing. As a Minnesota boy, I'm very happy about that. This may surprise you, but it's not always a frozen wasteland here. Our summers are actually pretty fantastic. While summer definitely hits its stride in June, the month is also known for something else: game announcements. Summer Games Fest 2022 starts on June 9th with the PC Gaming Show and the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase happening on the 12th. There will likely be a few more events sprinkled in here and there as well. At the end of the video, this month may feel like a lull, but remember, once these shows wrap up, we'll have many more games to look forward to. Now, one change you might notice in this month's video is that the release dates are only through the 14th of the month. I've decided to split these videos into 2 releases every month. Release dates can be pretty fluid up until the actual release, and instead of posting a video that covers release dates that are 3 to 4 weeks out and very subject to change, we're going to narrow the window a bit. Things may still shuffle a bit, but this allows me to deliver a more accurate video and affords me a little extra time to include as many new games as possible. Tentatively, you can expect videos on the 1st and the 15th going forward alongside my Out of a Hat series. Don't forget to check out the links below for my social media stuff. Use creator code CW719 on any Epic Store purchases you may make. And if you love the videos, consider becoming a patron. For as little as $5 a month, you can help me continue to live out my dream of creating gaming content, not only here on YouTube, but over on Twitch as well. You may only see 2 to 3 videos a month from me now on YouTube, but don't forget, I'm also live 30 hours a week on Twitch. For early June, we're looking at 33 games, 5 of which have Steam demos, 2 demos for the Switch, 3 games entering early access, and we'll probably get a fair amount of surprises when those big shows kick off. For now, though, here's your June releases for the first half of the month. Alone in an underwater abyss, you are a diver searching the deep to uncover long-forgotten mysteries. Explore the depths, possessing the creatures around you to solve environmental puzzles and travel deeper into the darkness. The trailer for Silt has me feeling a bit tense. Thalassophobia is the fear of deep bodies of water, and I feel like some of the creatures you come across in Silt are the reason that categorized fear exists in the first place. Silt lands on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC on June 1st. Third time's the charm. You may have seen this game featured in last month's video, and March's video, but the date has moved one final time. In Souldiers, you fight for your freedom in a sprawling fantasy world caught between the living and the fallen. Hone your skills in a retro epic featuring puzzle platforming, Metroidvania exploration, and crunchy Souls-like combat. I think the pixel art looks really good, but I've said all that before. Souldiers launches for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC on June 2nd, hopefully. You can also check out a demo on PC. Next up, we have a remake of a classic from 1982. Gravitar Recharged is the latest addition to Atari's Recharged series of games that revisits and modernizes titles from back in the day. Gravitar combines asteroids, Space Duel, and Lunar Lander, and adds exploration elements. Gravitar Recharged comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC on June 2nd. Card Shark tells a delicious tale of daring, deceit, and danger through 18th century France. You must learn to deceive your opponents to move up the card-playing city ranks. As a cheat though, you have to ensure that you're not found out. I'm interested to see how the cheat mechanics fit into the gameplay, but it's an intriguing approach that shows off a few different scenarios players could be put in. Card Shark releases on the Switch and PC on June 2nd. You can check it out now as there are demos available for both versions. Battle against ancient evils and discover the untold story between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 in this all-new massively multiplayer online action RPG. Now, I typically wouldn't include a mobile game on this list, but Diablo is one of the most recognizable gaming franchises on the planet, and there's going to be a ported version available on the PC with mouse and keyboard support. I'm a passive Diablo fan who really didn't even try the series until Diablo 3. I enjoyed it, but I don't really feel a draw to jump into Immortal. It releases on PC on June 2nd. A collection for the babies of the 80s. Wonder Boy collection includes Wonder Boy, Wonder Boy Monsterland, Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, Wonder Boy The Dragon's Trap, Wonder Boy in Monster World, and Monster World 4. These side-scrollers from yesteryear combine side-scrolling elements and RPG elements, and while I never really got into a Wonder Boy game, I always felt like the series could be right up my alley. Wonder Boy Collection comes to PS4 and Switch on June 3rd. My Lovely Wife delves into the depths of a man's grief after the sudden death of his beloved wife. Explore the notions of one's willingness to do anything for love and the importance of letting go in this mix of dating, management, and alchemy simulators. The premise is interesting and heartbreaking. After the death of your wife, you gain the ability to summon several succubi, which you must convince to fall in love with you, only to sacrifice them to bring your wife back. My Lovely Wife comes to Switch and PC on June 8th, with releases planned for PlayStation and Xbox at a later date. In the future, you've got to play a little dirty if you want to win races. Use every opportunity to jump off the paths of the roller coaster-like tracks, bypass gates and checkpoints, and roll over competitors on the way to first place and glory. This game looks like a great time and reminds me a little bit of the Mario slide levels from Super Mario 64, sans the penguins. Super Impossible Road comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and is leaving early access on PC on June 8th. The Cycle Frontier is a free-to-play PvPvE first-person extraction shooter driven by suspense and danger. Prospect for resources and other riches on an abandoned alien world ravaged by a deadly storm, inhabited by monsters, and frequently raided by other ambitious prospectors. I'd heard of the early access version of this game, simply called The Cycle, but always thought it was a battle royale. That doesn't seem to be the case, and this appears to be the next iteration of that game that has been around since 2019. The Cycle Frontier exits early access on June 8th. Interestingly enough, this actually appears to be 2 games in one. Tour de France 2022 pits you against other racers to compete in all 21 stages. It brings with it a new objective system, a redesigned My Tour mode, and other new features. Now, I have the utmost respect for these athletes and the crazy distances that they can cover on 2 wheels, but I will likely not be playing any Tour de France 2022 or Pro Cycling Manager 2022 myself. Tour de France 2022 will be playable on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC, while Pro Cycling Manager 2022 will be available on PC only. After living her entire life in an attic, Anastasia Linzel has her entire life changed when she gains the special ability called Fatal Rewind, which allows her to change the past. The problem is that in changing the past, she could be creating a worse tragedy instead. Even if Tempest is a visual novel that looks to be a story about the sense of loss and loneliness. Even if Tempest comes to the Switch on June 9th. Postal, Brain Damaged is a new action-oriented take on the series with throwback graphics and fast-paced modern gameplay. Take a wild roller coaster ride through the twisted wonderland encased in the Postal dude's messed up mind. Coming just 2 months on the heels of Postal 4 No Regrets seems surprising, but to be honest, this series is one that has defied logic for quite some time now. Postal, Brain Damaged comes to PC on June 9th. Nummels are dumb but predictable little guys. They'll always interact with what's in front of them, so toss them a ladder, dig a path, place a bridge, or blast a wall. Get them home safely in this medium skill platformer. My brain immediately went to 2 long-running franchises when I saw this game, Lemmings and Worms. It's outside of my wheelhouse, but the game is bright, colorful, and the Nummels are pretty damn cute for being rectangular faces. Puzzle game fans can look forward to Nummels when it comes to Xbox on June 9th. It's late summer in the remote forests of upstate New York, and the kids have finally left camp, which leads to the obvious but still always entertaining scenario involving camp counselors, unspeakable ways to die, and maybe a tale of survival. The Quarry is Supermassive Games' next installment. Known for Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures anthology, once again, a star-studded cast is brought together to try to scare the pants off of you. The Quarry comes to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC on June 10th. Post-apocalyptic JRPG, you say? The Metal Max series is one that many may not have heard of, but is actually celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Metal Max Xeno Reborn is actually a remake of the original Metal Max Xeno that released on PlayStation 4 and Vita in 2018. Featuring vehicular combat, you play Talus, who is searching for other survivors to stand against the machines of Noah. While it is a JRPG, it's not one that I'll likely jump into, as the setting and visuals really don't do too much for me. Metal Max Neo Reborn comes to PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC on June 10th. You play as Detective Ruka Hiryu, and you work in the 13th Division, where you are treated like garbage by the rest of your police force. When your department gains 2 new members, things start to pick up when rumors of the Shining Union start to shake the police force's foundations. Will you escape unscathed? This super-powered detective noir visual novel looks highly stylized and snappy, but as someone who steers clear of visual novels, I'll be skipping it. Meteor World Actor, Badge and Dagger comes to PC on June 10th and has a demo available now. Mario Strikers is back for the first time since 2007. Mario Strikers Battle League lets you play soccer with no rules. Earn coins in each match and unlock customization items that tweak your stats and appearance. You can also choose to play online or local multiplayer. I'm not a huge soccer fan, and I've never played the Strikers series, but with Mario on it, I'm sure it'll do just fine without me. Mario Strikers Battle League comes to Switch on June 10th. Please Fix the Road is a colorful, minimalistic, laid-back puzzle game in which, you guessed it, you're fixing roads. This looks like a very calming experience, and you can help not only vehicles reach their destinations, but animals as well. I don't typically get into puzzle games, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't something intriguing about this one. Please Fix the Road comes to PC on June 10th. So when I watched the trailer for Kids on Site Hard Hat Edition, I had no idea what I was watching. When the trailer ended, I still had no idea, so I looked around. I found out what it was, and I immediately began polishing up the Weirdest Game of the Month award. Kids on Sight was an old Sega CD full-motion video game released in 1994, and for some reason it's being released again with full 90s fashion intact. It's maybe an educational game, but it's coming from Screaming Villains, the folks that brought us the 25th anniversary versions of Corpse Killer and Night Trap, so maybe not. Kids on Sight Hard Hat Edition comes to PS4 and PC on June 14th. The Hand of Merlin is a turn-based roguelite RPG in which Arthurian legend clashes with cosmic horror. Recruit a company of up to 3 mortal heroes and guide them on a desperate journey from Albion to Jerusalem. The game features a non-linear narrative, tactical turn-based combat, a roguelite experience, and much more. Now, maybe it never went away, but I feel like Arthurian tales are back in a big way as of late. The Hand of Merlin exits early access on June 14th for PC and will also be coming to the Switch later this year. The Big Con is an irreverent comic adventure game set in the 90s. It's making its debut on the Switch on June 1st. This competitive first-person shooter is bringing 60 players armed with exosuits, personal vehicles, and varying classes to keep the action fast-paced. Leap enters early access on June 1st. This retro side-scroller puts you in the giant shoes of customizable kaiju as you destroy cities and work your way to the area bosses. It came out last year for PC and will be dropping on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on June 2nd. Play the role of an aspiring artist as she finishes her final piece for a gallery submission. Already out on PC with a demo available, the PS4 and Switch versions release on June 2nd. While Tyler and her friends are out geocaching, a mysterious incident turns their worlds upside down. Originally released on PC and mobile, this visual novel, Loopers, lands on Switch on June 2nd. Janitor Bleeds is a retro-inspired horror game that just released on PC in March. It now makes its way to Xbox on June 2nd. This roguelite action RPG showcases stunning art direction and interesting dungeons. Check it out when Unexplored 2: The Wayfarer's Legacy comes to Xbox consoles on June 3rd. The latest expansion to Elder Scrolls Online, High Isle pushes Breton's storyline forward and provides an additional 30 hours of story content. Releases for PC on June 6th. This real-time strategy RPG released on PC last year, and now the console versions of Spellforce 3 will bring a complete overhaul to the game, along with new features. It lands on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Series X and S on June 7th. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords is a classic single-player RPG set 5 years after the first KOTOR. It makes its debut on Switch on June 8th. Combining handcrafted levels and procedural generation, Mad Shot is a shoot-'em-up coming to early access on May 16th. The official game for the anime brings everything to the Switch, having released last year for PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and PC. Demon Slayer: Kimetsu no Yaiba, The Hinokami Chronicles lands on June 10th. Work through prehistory as you evolve your primitive hunter-gatherers through thousands of years of technological advancement when Sapiens comes to early access on June 13th. And there we have it. That's through June 14th. By the way, my first look at the latter half of the month shows me around 30 more games incoming. We've got a lot still going on this month. For now though, enjoy the gaming, and I'll see you guys around the 15th when we take a look at the second half of the month.